Welcome to another powerful episode of Pull Up for the Culture, the Legacy Lounge, where we break generational silence and speak the truths our communities have been taught to bury. It's your girl, Kia, and in part 10 of the Inherited Silence series, we shine a necessary light on the often ignored reality of underperforming Black students. See, while Black excellence is praised, the children who struggle academically are too often silenced, labeled, and left behind. In this episode, we explore the shame and silence passed down around academic struggle, how systematic bias mislabels and neglects students who learn differently, the emotional and generational toll of being unsupported in school, the myths of laziness versus truth of learning challenges, trauma, and unmet needs. And lastly, how families, educators, and communities can shift from punishment to presence. See, this is for every child who was told you're not trying hard enough, instead of being asked, how can I help you? It is for every adult who is still healing from being that child. It's the time to uplift the voices of the forgotten and build a new legacy rooted in compassion, equity, and truth. So let's break down this series. Imagine a young Black child sitting quietly in a classroom. The teacher is up at the front of the board, giving students instruction. She passes out a sheet of paper, and as the student looks, the words on the paper seem to be foreign. Other kids are raising their hands with confidence, answering questions and asking questions. But this child, they've already decided that it's safer for them to stay quiet than to risk being wrong. They aren't lazy. They aren't dumb. They're drowning in a system that never stopped to ask, what do you need to succeed? See, there is a silent shame in struggling. In many Black households, education is the golden ticket. It is the proof of worth and the passport out of poverty. So when a child struggles, it doesn't just feel like failure, it often feels like they are letting their entire family and their legacy down. See, parents are often stressed, overworked, and underinformed. And when their child is not producing, they may lash out instead of leaning in. Teachers who are overwhelmed and undertrained, when they see their students not performing well, they often label them as kids who are behavioral issues or they just don't want to learn without truly trying to understand them. And their peers, they mock them. They isolate from them, or they just simply ignore them. So the child learns to hide. They play the clown in class. They disturb the teacher's instruction, or they go to the bathroom multiple times, and they act like they don't even care. See, they inherited this silence that says we don't talk about our struggles. We just survive through it. See, the system is designed to miss Black children. The American school system wasn't built for the brilliance of Black children, especially those who did not fit the mold of being gifted. Instead, underperforming Black students are often overlooked when they need testing for learning deficiencies. They are often misdiagnosed with behavioral problems and not addressing their trauma, and more likely to be punished than supported. They are often placed in the lowest classes where expectation often meets neglect. This isn't just academic struggle, it's systemic failure wrapped in silence. The world doesn't ask, why are they behind? It just tells them you need to try harder without offering any tools or any trust that they have the ability to succeed. Now, many Black parents have never had access to advocacy themselves. So what they pass down isn't always encouragement. It is more so an expectation. This is an inherited silence that these students get. Parents often tell them, I worked hard, so should you. There are no excuses as to why you couldn't get this done. Don't embarrass me. And I'm the dumbest thing in the house, and I'm not dumb. But beneath those words is often fear that without success, their children will become a statistic. So they push hard, and sometimes unknowingly pushing them away. See, what our kids needed wasn't perfection. They needed patience. They needed someone to sit beside them and not just stand over them. They need someone who will come to their level, humanize themselves, and genuinely ask, what can I do to support you? See, in order to break the silence, we have to make sure that we change our thought process. See, underperformance doesn't mean inability. It means unmet needs. And every child learns, loves, and leads differently. To change the narrative, we must begin to test early for learning disabilities. When a child is deficient or when a child is showing behavioral issues, let's just not tag it as it is a behavioral issue. Let's look at their academics. Let's also redefine intelligence beyond grades. See, most of the time we equate intelligence based on whether or not a student can get an A or a B, and that's how we label them as gifted. Gifted does not always mean being academically gifted. Sometimes students have different skills and abilities that may not be on the radar of everyone else, but that student is still intelligent. See, we have to replace shame with support. For those students that are struggling academically, we have to make sure that we don't shame them, but we provide resources to support them. We have to make sure that we are celebrating the small victories and not just the big achievements. We have to remind every struggling child that they are not alone. Let's stop making academic success the only version of Black excellence. Let's uplift the child who failed the test but showed up. Showing up is half the battle. The one who reads slowly but dreams big. The ones who are trying even if no one has told them that they are doing enough. See, we have to provide the redemption for these students. We have to give them a voice. So when we go back to that same classroom and we provide all these tools and strategies that we've discussed, the child who used to stay quiet raises their hand. Not because they're sure of the answer, but because someone finally made them feel safe enough to try. Let's make that the new standard. Making the kid feel safe enough to learn. Because silence never served our children. But being seen, being supported, that changes everything. So I want to say thank you for holding space with us on this journey. To every student who's been told they weren't enough, to every parent who did the best they could with what they had, to every teacher learning how to do things better, this episode is for you. Let this be your reminder that struggles do not equate to failure. Silence does not mean a lack of value. And please, for every child, every single child deserves to be taught with love, not just evaluated by standards. Here at Pull Up for the Culture, the Legacy Lounge, we're not just telling stories. We're healing generations one truth at a time. Until next time, break the silence, reclaim the narrative, and build the legacy. Peace, power, purpose, love. And if you need any assistance or being supported in these things, please visit pkmonateeducationalconsulting.com for assistance. We thank you, and as we always say, when you want truth, you want knowledge, all you gotta do is pull up.